Ladies and gentlemen, Goa, as you know, has always been a very popular holiday destination, attracting people from across the world. It has beautiful beaches, it has great food, it has a very lively culture. Once its beaches were teeming with international tourists. It was being called a destination with too much tourism. But today, Goa is eerily quiet. I will not say empty, but quiet. So what has happened to this iconic Indian beach paradise? Why is it losing business to places like Sri Lanka and Thailand and Vietnam? Well, the numbers tell a troubling tale. The numbers, of course, that we are going to put for you have been disputed by the Goa government. But the numbers say that Goa has witnessed a staggering 60% drop in forest tourist arrivals. What is being claimed is that once loyal visitors from the Russia and the UK are now flocking to Sri Lanka and Thailand instead. In fact, one social media put all these numbers on his social media post. It quickly went viral, sparking widespread concern, so much so that even the Goa government was compelled to respond to it. In defense, the Goa government asserted that Mr. Mukherjee's data is absolutely incorrect, citing a record 99 lakh domestic tourists visiting Goa in 2024, which was up from 81.75 lakh tourists in 2023. They also pointed out a modest increase in foreign tourist numbers from 4.5 lakhs in 2023 to 4 lakh 60 lakh in 2024. So this is the Goa government telling us that no, the reports and the data is wrong. Actually, both domestic tourists and foreign tourists have increased in Goa. However, the conversation didn't end there. Embarrassing the Goa government and the Goa tourism minister is one of their own. BJP MLA Michael Lobo has added fuel to the fire, saying very categorically that reality cannot be denied, that number of tourists are going down, but he's also suggesting that the growing presence of Idli-Sambar and Vada Pav in beach shacks in Goa could be something that is pushing away tourists. He argues that the decline in international visitors isn't solely the government's fault. He insists that all stakeholders must share the responsibility. Mr. Lobo is joining us on the broadcast this evening. Mr. Lobo, as always, thank you very much for your time. Can I start by asking you, sir, what exactly you meant by your comment that Idli-Sambar and Vada Pav sellers from Bangalore are ruining Goa's tourism industry? What is the connection?
It's not only about Bangalore. See, the beach shack policy, which is there in the state of Goa, it's a very unique policy. And when I say unique, means it is not there in any other state in the country. So, beach shack policy is meant for our beach unemployed youth from the state of Goa to showcase their cuisine to it's for self-employment. Unemployed youth can get self-employed. It is on lottery system, and whoever has got experience can put their this for a lottery, and once they get the lottery, they cannot sublet it. So there are some few shacks on the beach which was sublet, and in these shacks, when a tourist comes, they used to get good cuisine, a Goan cuisine, some part of Indian cuisine, some continental, some international cuisine, but all seafood and also other items. So people and also veg food. So when people, the Indian or foreign tourists come, they were getting a warm welcome by the Goans who were traditionally running these beach shacks. So we have seen in the last 2 years, these few of the shacks were being sublet, and department has turned a Nelson eye on this, which is wrong. So I meant to say that the beach shack should be only with our Goan, original Goan people who are educated and unemployed. This is what I said.
Okay. Okay. So essentially you are saying, and I'm paraphrasing, that serving of idli, sambar and vada pav instead of local Goa cuisine in the shacks is a factor in tourism declining in the state?
I'm differentiating the beach shack and people who are selling veg food on the main road. I am not against that. Idli-Sambar is being sold all over, and I eat it my once in a 8-10 days. My hotel where I have a hotel also. We also give it to our customers. Even I eat it. There is nothing wrong. But the beach shack should not be sublet was the press conference. And if you sublet it and a person from
Okay.
either Karnataka or from Delhi or Gurgaon or Maharashtra or any other state takes it on lease, what will you expect him to sell? What is the cuisine what he is going to give? Which is totally illegal for him to
Okay.
first of all to lease it out. So some of our few Goans have leased out these shacks, and there the problem has started. The our culture, our cuisine, our food has been compromised. Our very own Goan beach, which was meant for Goan unemployed youth, has been compromised. Our lot of Indians come to Goa and they
Okay.
take restaurants on rent, clubs on rent, guest houses on rent, veg restaurants on rent. It is legally allowed. But here on the beach, they are not allowed to take a beach shack on lease. This is what has happened, and that is why this controversy has
Okay.
started. So now the Department of Tourism has
Okay.
already started sending notices, started taking action. Like earlier in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, we used to see all those Belpuri gadas on the beach, but now it is no longer. Even in Goa, it is there, but it is away from the beach. It is on the main road. So beach shacks are meant to sell Goan food, simply fish and all the other seafood, and also partly part veg food. No problem to sell, but it should be sold by our very own Goans.
Sir, since you are also a hotel owner, you're also a BJP MLA, can you tell us what exactly the problem is? Why is it that international tourists are keeping away from Goa? Although your government itself denies it and says, nahi, nahi, lots of tourists are coming, no problem. But you're saying there is a problem.
Conference yesterday was the same thing, that there is a decline of foreign tourists coming in the state of Goa, a major decline which has happened for the last 5 years, and it is a matter of concern where the stakeholders have to come together. The government department, that is tourism department, and a coordination committee has to be formed, understand where we are wrong, the stakeholders, where the stakeholders have gone wrong, where the problems are there, why there is a dispute still between the cab aggregator and the local taxi owners and drivers. There is a problem on lot of fronts as far as the beach tourism is concerned. So there are a lot of issues which needs to be resolved and solved. Like earlier, we had a major problem of garbage, but we solved that in 2015 when I became the MLA. We set up a garbage treatment plant, a German technology garbage treatment plant, and we brought all the garbage of the entire beach and the local restaurants and the resorts and five-star hotels and brought under one umbrella, and we segregated and treated it and produced electricity. So that factory is still running. So this is how we solve
Okay.
problems. So I only have told that the government needs to set up a coordination committee and come out with solutions to all these problems which are affecting the tourism industry in the state of Goa. And these are the reasons why there is a decline in the tourism sector. You cannot just go, if you go on the beach, you should not be hassled. There are so many issues what we are facing today, which needs to be resolved and which needs to be solved on a war footing basis. Otherwise, I said there will be a time where we will
Okay.
hunt for tourists. Goa was a place where tourism used to be overflowing, like all rooms packed, all restaurants packed. Now everybody is searching for tourists. So this is a matter of concern which I have raised, and it is true. We cannot hide it under a basket. It is true, and we need to discuss this issue. We need to deliberate this issue. We need to debate on this issue, and we need to come out with solutions on this issue.
Hmm. Okay, Michael Lobo, thank you very much. You're essentially contradicting your own government, that is discarding data available and saying all is well in Goa as far as tourism is concerned. You're saying don't be in denial. Thank you very much. You also say it should be debated. So let's begin that debate. It's not going to be a very long one. 13 to 14 minutes. Anurag Naidu, you're a political analyst joining us on the broadcast. Amit Palekar is president of the Goa AAP unit. And Sanjay Hegde is a senior advocate. He's joining us on the broadcast. But why is he joining us today? He's also a part resident of Goa. And he has a view on the matter as well. Sanjay Hegde, last time, someone on social media posted a set of data that suggested that the number of tourists are actually falling in Goa. The Goa government woke up and filed an FIR against that social media handle and said that this guy is being paid to defame Goa. Ab yahan they have their own BJP MLA who is saying that this is reality, it cannot be denied. As a citizen of Goa, can I ask you where you stand on this? Because one problem also was that Goa had a problem of too many tourists. Maybe things are balancing out now.
Well, I don't know whether it is balancing, rebalancing, or what. But yes, there has been a very great decline. I know it from personal experience. You called me a part-time resident. By the time that I'm not there, my house used to be let out as a service apartment. I know that now it is not being let out. And when I asked why, they said there are no tourists, there are no walk-ins anymore. So Michael Lobo and his wife both are MLAs. They are powerful MLAs. They were originally in the Congress. They've moved over to the BJP, and he has contradicted his government rightly. There is a much larger problem, which is some of it which is Goa-based, some of it which is now systemic, primarily because Southeast Asia has become much cheaper. They have started becoming liberal with their visas. They have decided to catch the Indian tourist. So the Indian tourist who would spend 2 or 3 days in Goa at a particular budget finds that he can spend a week in Southeast Asia or more. Now, how does Goa get over this? How does it not seem to be an exploitative destination? That is also the problem with the taxi ownerships and all that Michael Lobo has spoken about. More than all this, there is one more factor which is coming. Goa and Kerala, everybody has been to. There is my other little coast of the Karnataka coast, which is suddenly coming up in people's eyes. We have much better beaches, cleaner beaches, and a lot of the good money has started going there. So Goa now better shape up its act. It has to shape up its act. And if Michael Lobo, by talking about Idli-Sambar, has focused attention, he's done a good thing.
Amit Palekar, come in here as the Goa AAP president when Mr. Lobo, and the headline was that Goa MLA blames Idli-Sambar Vada Pav being sold by people from Bangalore in Goa as the reason behind Goa's declining tourism. You know, there was a big controversy, right? And it did make headlines. But turns out he's raising an issue which is important because he's pointing to the fact that the government is in denial. Tourists are not coming, and there's a good reason why tourists are not coming. But beyond the point, what can the government of Goa do? If people in India who have the money choose to go to Sri Lanka or a Vietnam or a Thailand instead of coming to Goa. I mean, for example, we had the choice of going to Goa or Sri Lanka as a family. We found that it was cheaper to travel to Sri Lanka.
I agree with you. See, in some funds, I certainly agree with you. In fact, I am I travel a lot. I've been to Sri Lanka recently. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Hong Kong. And, of course, those are the countries which have always had the tourism that they always said that they boasted of. But, Sri Lanka has upped the mark. They have created infrastructure that is amazingly, overwhelmingly beautiful to actually drive on, to go around. But Goa, I think Goa government has misplaced priorities. We are looking at tourism events in Europe where we are not getting any tourists from there. And I think we should be lucky that those who eat Idli-Sambar are coming to Goa right now. Otherwise, we would have been left with them without them also. So I think when Mr. Michael Lobo says that it is Idli-Sambar restaurants which are creating a problem, I also belong to hospitality industry. And I must remind him one thing that Mr. Michael Lobo has been an MLA of Kalangut constituency, which boasts of highest amount of tourists coming for last more than a decade. His wife, newly elected, which is from the area of Anjuna Vagator, both of them should hire, rent a bike, and go around the roads. Last 2.5 years, there are no roads there, no infrastructure there. Now, if these MLAs, which are blaming their own government, cannot ask the government to have better roads, I don't understand. I call it mixed bhaji. There's something called as mixed bhaji in Goa, where there are 2-3 types of vegetables are mixed. It's not idli sambar. It's the mixed bhaji government that is creating a problem for tourism in Goa. No state, whilst I agree with Advocate Sir that Maharashtra and Karnataka are buckling up and moving ahead, but no state can give you that vibe. No state can offer you that love and hospitality that Goa offers. May it be any country in the world. I travel the world and I can feel it, I know it, and I always want to come back to my fish curry. But you have seen attacks on tourists in Goa. You've seen that the tourists are extorted by the traffic police, in spite of the fact that tourism minister and chief minister has time and again asked them not to do it. But why they keep doing it? Is the government failed in those aspects of law and order? There has never been attacks on tourists the way we have heard of in last 6 months, and it is very alarming as a Goan and also being from hospitality industry that we have seen decline in the good tourists. Goa is full. Every flight that comes to Goa from Bombay, Delhi, or any metro, there is not a single seat empty most of the time. But where are they going? Why are they not going to the businesses? So I think the major point that needs to be discussed is quality tourism, not foreign tourists or idli sambar. But the kind of tourists that Goa attracted and the kind of spending tourists, I think South Goa always has an edge over North Goa, because I think North Goa has the opposite development that has come in. The bad state of roads, bad state of extortive tourism that has come into being. I think that these are all the factors that are reason for decline in tourism. It's just not that you can blame the tourism minister. I think the entire government is to be blamed for this, because the infrastructure is the core strength
also
of
the
any
hospitality industry has to.
Oh yes, of course. If Goa
I agree, but even the hospitality industry has to be blamed. I mean, how can you have a little room on the beach in off-season for 30,000 rupees and not even a 5-star, a 3-star? So there is a problem even with the hospitality industry and the unrealistic prices at which hotel rooms are being sold even during off-season. But Anurag Naidu, can I just bring you into the conversation? As I said, this is going to be a small one. We all love Goa, right? If Goa was good enough or as good as it was 10-15 years ago, maybe our pick would be Goa and not Sri Lanka. Anurag Naidu, the fact is that I want to ask you this question as someone who's possibly representing the BJP on the show this evening. Is the Goa government in denial? If there are influencers, if there are travel bloggers who come to Goa and say, look, there is extortion by taxi drivers, hotel rates are absolutely crazy, etc., the infrastructure is poor, is your response to actually launch an entire campaign against that social media influencer, calling him a paid agent, then filing an FIR against him, instead of actually looking and hearing of what a tourist's experience in the state has been?
Yeah, I think, Shreya, there are 2 points. Shreya, important point that we need to understand is how taxis are run in Goa, the taxi cartel and the local taxi ecosystem that is prevalent in Goa is not something that this government has created. It has been there for few decades, if not, a few years. And when you talk about hotels, now, Shreya, or most of the hotel, whether you book it or I book it, we go to some third-party apps like Make My Trip, Goa, whatever. And these apps are AI-driven now. So the prices that you see, 30,000 or 40,000, are based on the search pricing, based on the demand supply. So government has nothing to do there. To blame the government, it would be the most funniest thing to do. Now, interesting part that, Shreya, you clearly mentioned, that why should not government act on an influencer or anyone for that matter? If my intentions are not clear, I want to hurt and damage the sentimental aspect of the Goa tourism. And if I'm mischievous in my nature, if the government proves so, or if the government finds through the investigation that my intention was not clean and mischievous, why should we not act on it? And even Mr. Lobo, when he was telling, so there one interesting point he said, which we should focus. He was time and again referring to the subletting concept of it, right? Now, when you're subletting to something, he's telling the Goans or the localites or the unemployed youth, they are not getting opportunities. As a matter of fact, the Goan cuisine is not being sold. And this is a problem which is pretty much, got to do with the opportunities that Goan youth should get. Now, tourism as an industry, Goa has seen a decline, but let's also not undermine the potential of the local tourists, the country, the Indian tourists there. Goa is no more dependent on the foreign tourists, to bring back that charm. We Indians, in fact, if you ask me, Shreya, I pay much more, for the hotels in India than I pay in Stockholm or Frankfurt or even Berlin for that matter. So I think Indians are spending far more. We no more depend on foreign tourists for the Goan tourism.
Yes, but the problem is
a bit low,
but Goa has a vibe. And I think Indians are. Yeah. Mr. Naidu, the problem is that Indians are spending when they travel, but Indians who can actually afford it are not preferring to go to Indian destinations, including Goa. That's the fact. If they have the money, they will travel to a Sri Lanka or a Vietnam or a Thailand. Why that is something for the tourism industry to actually introspect on and for the Goa government to introspect on. Thank you very much, Anurag Naidu, for joining us. Amit Palekar, thank you very much. And Sanjay Hegde, thank you very much. I'm sure we could have gone on and on, but I'm afraid my time is out. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night to all of you. Shreya Upadhyay, ladies and gentlemen, is up next with all the day's headlines. Do stay with us and have a very good weekend.